beautiful thing right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. I am alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to the white lights. White lights.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
Crazy evil.
What's up, people? I just realized I accidentally have another tab up and it's playing and it's driving me nuts. Sorry, there you go. Now I can hear me talk. Oh, or hear myself talk. Jeez, I accidentally brought up the other Rumble tab as I was doing this, and it started screaming in my ear. Everything going off at once. Whoa, what a stressful way to enter the show. Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry I'm running late. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is The Morning Dump. I am your host, Jose Galison. Sorry it's a little bit late. Hair was being weird and unruly. He was doing this gay little flippy thing I was trying to fix, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't start the show with the weird little flippy thing he was doing. So, I don't know, maybe it's time for a haircut. Although I don't think the wife will even let me at this point. Just growing the sucker out. But yeah, I'm glad to be with you guys today. It is, Thursday today, June 26th. We have some stuff to go through, some weird news. Not too much, so far as world-shattering like we've had at the beginning of the week. So a little bit more settled down, but we do have some weird, wonky, wild stories for you guys. So yeah, see some of y'all in the chat already. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning, Doctori. Good morning, Tom33. Good morning, everybody. I'm sure more of you will be rolling in here soon. All right, I think to start the show, I wanted to... You guys probably noticed this thumbnail. I think on YouTube it cuts off some of it, so you may not have gotten the full experience, but it's pretty clear who the thumbnail is if you can see the full thumbnail. If you can't, it's a Steven Crowder address. But let's be real, this is a little bit ham-fisted. I didn't even really necessarily want to cover anything about Crowder today, but I don't know. I didn't really have any good faces to throw on it, and there was sort of a story that was like, maybe I'll cover it. But so with that, I think maybe we could do a little bit of movie time for the beginning of the show today. We can watch, as soon as I can find it, we can watch this video and kind of break it down as we go. I have not watched it because, as the show usually is, it's kind of more of a reaction / sort of how I get my news and we share it together. But I believe, I'm gathering from context here, that this little clip here is probably from Crowder, is this clip where he may or may not have called out Dave Smith. And the reason why I'm covering this is because recently, I just saw yesterday, Dave said he was going to, I guess, debate him, or not necessarily debate him, but go on a show or something. Because he Crowder put out some sort of video as like a challenge to anybody that or not challenge, but hey, anyone that I said anything about. And he even said Dave by name. So I think this is it, but I think this is in the note. It's like the other day when I gave the breakdown, which isn't mine, it wasn't like an original idea, of how there's 3 parties here. You have the War Party, you have what they were calling the Panicans, and you have the Trust the Planners. Crowder was kind of this trust the planner because, I mean, you could say maybe he's just go with whatever Trump is about. But his whole thing is I went down the Crowder pipeline. I was a Crowder guy before I ever went, was into Dave Smith or any other stuff. He is he positions himself as that constitutional conservative. He's all about liberty and such. But he definitely fits in the trust the camp where he'll find ways to go, I don't know, we voted for Trump and Trump's been this and that. At least that's my understanding. I don't watch the show regularly. That's the impression I get, that he, of those 3 camps, would probably be of the Trust the Planners. So, with the Trust the Planners, those people have a lot been to the Panicans, although that's an awful name, but I guess for shorthand it works. been kind of trying to rub their nose in it. Like, look, you guys didn't just go with you guys didn't trust in Trump. You guys didn't trust in Trump. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. So I figured we'd watch this video together, get a feel of maybe what his arguments are. He's obviously, this is more pointed at Candace, but I know where Dave gets caught in this is, let's be real, Dave is kind of he's usually associated with that milieu of Candace. If anything, like, not necessarily saying there's anything sinister here, if it's even on purpose, but it almost feels like Dave is like, really even just for anyone in that camp, Dave is like the Grim Reaper you send out when you're like, to handle, because like he doesn't have the how do I say it? He doesn't have the, not PR, what's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't have the profile of somebody like a Tucker Carlson or a Candace Owens or something, but he's far more gifted in the art of, I don't know, argumentation, or logic. So yeah, he's the guy you send out to just wreck people. And I think there also is like a good little package there where there is this, I don't know, people will sometimes underestimate him because he's a comedian, and also even regardless of whether they underestimate him or not, there's also this coming into it of, it's a known, this is a comedian, so it's like even more like you're going to look really ridiculous when you look foolish. So this is why they have to resort to all these arguments from authority, because it's such a what's the word? It's such a embarrassment, really. It's like that's the only way you can really save face at all, is by kind of scratching at his credibility. That's the only thing you can really do, because it's like everyone, it's like, otherwise it's like usually, I mean, yeah, some people are stupid and they get wowed with dumb arguments, but for the most part, usually those interactions people can see and they go, yeah, dude, you just got destroyed. So, like, they kind of have to come with, whoa, he doesn't, his facts are wrong, so that was all bullshit. And it's like, well, why didn't you call him on it then? So, but anyways, enough pussyfooting around. Let's watch this video, because I'm kind of curious what the fuck. It's a little bit long. Maybe we'll get bored with it and ditch it halfway through, but I'm kind of curious what was being said. I think I kind of know. The caption here is, she lied to you. She said you were going to die for Israel. She said Trump was owned by Netanyahu. She told American soldiers to desert and get a dishonorable discharge. She lied to you. But I'm assuming Dave probably catches a stray somewhere in here. But either way, I think maybe it might be worthwhile to watch. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Candace Owens said over and over again that President Trump would send you to die for Israel, for the Jews. I'm reading her actual ex-post. Get ready, white American men. It's time for you to go die for Israel again. If you don't want to die for Israel, then you are an anti-Semite. Sign up to die in Iran for Netanyahu today, or just admit you hate Jews. Here's another one. They tried to redefine anti-Semitism, criminalize criticism of Israel on college campuses. Not true. Most crucially, seed the...
Whoa, not true. Okay, what do you say not true? They tried to redefine anti-Semitism, criminalize... Okay, redefine, she's speaking about the IHRA, Holocaust, with the International Holocaust Remembrance Association definition, the one that it was used recently in Congress, I believe, when they were passing... Essentially, I believe it was a resolution. Essentially, they were defining anti-Semitism. And from there, then there was, after building off of that, from understanding, once again, not a legal guide, I'm fucking retarded, but from there, they built off of that, the IHRA working definition, that they were able to get past as essentially hey, from here on out, this is a reference point of what anti-Semitism is, which this is the only ism that I'm aware of that is defined by the government, which is bizarre for one. But then I guess it makes sense if you're going to then from there spawn off a bunch of legislation off of it, and they then from there spawned a bunch of legislation up from there saying this can't be anti-Semitic, this can't be. I do think it was like, if I recall correctly, since it is these universities, a lot of them may be held up in this like we're withholding funding type thing. So it does get debatable, since it is like, well, I mean, it's not like these people are entitled to funds, but then it is the government withholding funds based on speech. Anyways, beside the point. Yeah, so what do you say? Criminalize criticism of Israel on college campuses. Okay, you said not true. I guess maybe you could say not true there, since I guess technically criminalize, you could be a douche and say that's not correct, because... I mean, I do think technically that it's not criminalized. Like, I don't think you're going to see... I don't think there's anywhere that I've heard of that you have any criminal I mean, criminal things that can happen to you. Now, obviously, if you're an immigrant, you might get kicked the fuck out of the country. Even if you went through all the right processes and everything, just because you wrote an op-ed against Israel or something. So yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe criminalize. I guess to give Stephen the slightest bit of benefit of the doubt, maybe that he has qualms with the criminalized part there, because like I said, I don't think I've heard of any criminal penalties being applied. I think it's simply things like schools maybe being withheld funding, or I don't know, maybe not being able to get into certain schools, or I don't know the specifics. So I don't think there's any criminal that I'm aware of yet. All right, let's go ahead. And then it all says, and most crucially, seed the idea that the declaration of Christ as our king amounted to hatred against Jews. I don't think he said not true to that. He said not true earlier. All right, let's keep going.
The idea that the declaration of Christ as our king amounted to hatred against Jews. Also not accurate.
That's whatever. You guys, they can debate about that one. That one I don't really like. It's just a silly. I mean, I thought it was really gay. It seems like a contrived talking point, the whole Christ is king. Frankly, kind of on both sides. Although I have to say the Candace side of this, while I'm not even religious, I kind of do lean towards on the whole Christ is king thing. Because it did feel like when it first started that the Israel first crowd, or whatever you want to call them, they immediately, I can't remember what even started it. I think Candace started using it at regular. I remember I was much more into it when it started, so I remember the ins and outs of it, and I just remember my impression was like, this is really stupid, and they're clearly trying to make a big thing out of nothing. I do think they were concerned. I really think the Israel side of this was concerned that the Christian stuff was going to take off, and I really actually think they thought that they were going to rhetorically nip it in the bud with this whole like some sort of shuttling off of the Christ is king thing, depending on the context, because it kind of was being used in certain contexts, and I don't think it meant in an anti-Semitic way, but just in a kind of like, fuck off, this is my priority way. Yeah, I think they were trying to curb that, and I think it backfired, and it is really a bad look, and I still think it's a bad look for people, especially ones who try to be Christians, and you're trying to go, oh, can't say Christ our king because there's very specific context and that can be used, I don't know, anti-Semitic. It just seems so fucking stupid. Like, unless I like literally go to like a Jewish crowd and like, hey guys, from every time I say Christ is king, just know I mean kike. Like, and then I go, Christ is king, Christ is king, Christ is king. That's like, all right, well, that's shitty, dude. I mean, I don't know, that's weird. I mean, really just bizarre behavior. I mean, I don't know. Let's keep playing.
All of this was done in preparation for the greater Israel agenda, regarding which they attempted to emotionally manipulate Americans to accept. The conspiracy theorists were right again. It was always about a planned war with Iran and a doomed heretical belief that mass slaughter of women and children is messianic. Let me read that again. It was always about a planned war.
Yeah. Yes. All right, let's go ahead and watch this stupid shocked face.
Where's the planned war?
Oh, because we don't have a war right now. Oh, the war stopped. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Well, that's big brain thinking we got there.
Yeah. This wasn't presented as an opinion. This was presented to you as fact. And I had many people go, this is clearly a planned war.
Does anyone really take this, though, as that, like, there's literally no way in hell that this couldn't come true? I mean, I don't know. I accidentally backed up a little
Israel,
bit.
then you are an...
Oops, backed up
President,
a bunch.
so let's go through the examples. Candace Owens said over and over...
Right. Sorry, I accidentally... Let me see. Speed it up a little bit. Where the fuck was we?
Reading her actual ex-post. Get ready, white American men. It's time for you to go die for Israel again. If you don't want to die for Israel, then you are an anti-Semite. Sign up to die in Iran for Netanyahu today, or just admit you hate Jews. Here's another one. They tried to redefine anti-Semitism criminalized.
Sorry, I fucked up and clicked ahead, guys. There we go.
Criticism of Israel on college campuses. Not true. Most crucially, see the idea that the declaration of Christ as our king amounted to hatred against Jews. Also not accurate. All of this was done in preparation for the greater Israel agenda, regarding which they attempted to emotionally manipulate Americans to accept. The conspiracy theorists were right again. It was always about a planned war with Iran and a doomed heretical belief that mass slaughter of women and children is messianic. Let me read that again. It was always about a planned war. Where's the planned war?
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah. This wasn't presented as an opinion. This was presented to you as fact. And I had many people go, this is clearly a planned war for Israel. That's clearly what Donald Trump is doing. He's trying to get us in. Is that what you're seeing?
That's that's 100% what I saw. Yeah. I really don't understand this like smug. Keep going.
If it's not what you're seeing, This was dishonest. Here's another one.
I still don't get how this is dishonest. Is the idea is just because it didn't happen? Because obviously, as is very clear, let's be real, I think Candace would probably even say that a lot of this complaining was also somewhat in the idea that this strong rhetoric perhaps could get cooler heads to perhaps see this logic and go, oh shit, maybe you are correct. At least maybe you get some bottom down push. The reason why we say these things is to get pushback. Like, so if like we say this and then the thing that we want happens, and we don't get war. I mean, we're not saying. I know it's just ridiculous because it's not like Candace, Dave, all like these people aren't saying these things because they want war. They're saying because they don't want war, and they're pointing out looks like we're going to war. But all right, whatever. This is just. It feels like pearl clutching. That's like sort of trying to be disguised as something else. Because it seems to be we're swirling around this like, what do you think they're controlled by Israel? A planned war? Like that's all. It just feels like huffing. That's all. Like yeah, that is what we. I mean, they're trying to frame this stuff as like dishonest. I mean, sure. I mean, obviously it's hyperbolic, but yeah. I mean, everyone does that with messaging. That's what you do. You throw some hyperbole on it. And yeah, I think a war with Iran, which was very imminent, and I still think is very, very, very likely, which is literally the seventh country in the 7 countries that General Wesley Clark pointed out. It's literally the last one. So it's kind of a big one. Does everyone act like it's like it's being fucking ridiculous? Like
foreign policy is dictated by Israel. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. That seem like it's dictated by Israel?
It's someone who's realizing that Israel doesn't give a fuck about them. Yeah, I mean, I will say the whole like, oh, they don't give a fuck about Israel. Like pointing to this and going, oh, clearly he's not controlled by Israel is frankly foolish. Like, did you not see all the things we saw? Did you not see all the actions? I mean, we were pointing out what Tulsi Gabbard literally told in her report, which she then later kind of played some weird semantics game saying it was other than that, or that wasn't, I don't even understand what it was, but that nope, they weren't planning on getting nukes, nothing. I mean, we were supposedly in diplomacy with them, and then we tricked them, and I still can't get over how everyone, like, it always gets this framing of how all of this was so brave and so genius and necessary when it's none of those things. It's literally an inversion of every single one of those. It was disgusting behavior. Like what was shown on the world stage was duplicitous shitty behavior, or at the very least cowardly behavior. And it was all in the service of Israel. And so the idea that then we go that, oh look, he finally at some point threw his hands up after being pushed, like being really just fucked over by this country over and over and over and over again to such a degree. Like, yeah, sure, I think it does prove that at the very least he's not like 100% like in the plan, or, you know, I mean, even I guess maybe that could be true, but it doesn't seem very likely. It looks to me like he's getting played to some extent. To what degree he's going along with this, I don't know. But know what? This does look like someone who is compromised, who is frustrated with the situation, like, hey, they got me on camera doing something forever ago, and now I only have so much leeway, and look how frustrated I am, and I can only do so much, and so I will allow them to lead me by the nose to do damn near anything until the most ridiculous of situations, this whole ceasefire thing, which was ridiculous. He had just essentially, and you know, oh, let's be real, it was ridiculous on his end too, because he essentially just manifested a ceasefire. He just says, oh, well, we got a ceasefire, and then the Iranians are like, well, no one fucking said a word to us. The Israelis didn't even respond, basically. I think at first they didn't even give, from my understanding, from my recollection, I think they literally just basically tried to ignore it at first. Like, what? And then, but Iran was like, yeah, we'll take that ceasefire. We'll take it. I mean, you didn't talk to us about this, so this is weird, but we will take it. Like that's how that went down. And even still, then Israel finds every fucking reason. It looks like they may or may not have lied about Iran, sending over some missiles during the time they were supposed to be having their ceasefire. I mean, maybe it was true. Even if it is true, it's like, okay, we'll give some level of good faith or something. I mean, I think even Trump alluded to it was like just small like it was like a, maybe if there even was, it was just like, point being, Just ridiculous. The idea that he had to he woke up to them completely flying in the face of this whole thing that he basically managed to somehow pull out of his ass and make happen. And even then, the next fucking morning, like when he's like, while we're asleep and he's asleep, he wakes up to like, they're fucking bombing Iran. And he's like, what the fuck? So... yeah, and he literally got woken up to Israel fucking screwing him over again. And that's if you assume he's not with it. So that's like the good faith interpretation. So yeah, and even then you can say, look at like, yeah, maybe he's not like, that looks like someone who's compromised. Like, how the fuck are you allowing some entity to pull you around like this to this degree? It's frankly pathetic.
That's part of the plan.
Yeah.
Deception.
Trump will continue to do as he is told by Netanyahu. Don't drop the bombs.
Oh, wow. What a big, tough man he is. He finally fucking reached down into his pants and found a little fucking peon of a thing that he calls a testicle. Congrats. Although, actually, I say that a little bit like, but I don't know what they have on him. I mean, who knows? Maybe they don't have anything on him all. I have no idea. Maybe it's just they've hooked him up in the past. Maybe it is the 100 million. Maybe they have him on video doing this or that. I don't know. So, I mean, maybe this was a heroic act. Maybe, because, I mean, let's say they did have some crazy blackmail on him. For him to go that far, maybe it is like he is risking a ton in a certain context. But to anyone not knowing this, like not knowing that context, it's like, what? You look like a bitch. I don't know.
Okay, we won't. That sounds to me like one person's in charge. And here's the thing. That's a good thing. Shouldn't we be happy about this, guys? Shouldn't we be happy that Donald Trump at a certain point had enough and said jump, and they said how high? Both sides.
Are you really trying to frame this as, oh my God, what a stupid fucking takeaway that this was Trump said fucking jump and they said how high. Okay. All right. You mean they blew up his fucking his truce? I mean, you either believe that he worked with them to blow up the fucking on this, because the whole fucking 60-day thing. I guess everyone points to, he said 60 days or some shit at one point, and so this was the 60-day mark. But the thing was, within 24 hours prior, he was notifying Iran that he still wanted diplomacy. He didn't want violence, blah, blah, blah. I forget the exact tweet or truth or whatever the fuck. So, yeah. So then that fucks that up. I mean, if you're trying to lean into that, then it's like, okay, you have to pick a lane. And they play both. That's the thing that's annoying here, is we're seeing, as I'm pointing out these three camps, it is playing both. You see I guess with the ones the Panicans, which in a weird way, I almost think that group there very well may be something going on there to kind of pacify the right, in that like, don't worry, here's this off-ramp, and he truly believes this, so we're going to have these like 4 years of this one group trying to convince us that like, no, Trump's actually like this, no. I mean, you got fucking, we got Tucker in this camp, whose dad was the Voice of America guy. Let's be real, Tucker fucking glows. I mean, he says all the things I like. Maybe he's legit. I don't know, but I mean, I know things, and I can't help but know those things, and I'm not retarded. I don't know. Steve Bannon, I believe, what was he, like naval intelligence or something? Same with Posobiec. Like, I mean, I don't know. You think of, it's like, it's just kind of, it's too easy. It's just right there. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just right. Like, what are we, is that not just some sort of, narrative, the influencer, influence game right there of like, hey, this is the off-ramp to, for the whole, America First side of things. That way we can kind of oscillate between both and get cover from both sides. I don't know, because it frankly feels a little bit that way to me. I think we're going to, because as I keep coming back to, you have to pick a lane. If we see these events that happen, that or you have to pretend like lying is like some genius thing. That's why I get so frustrated with this. Like, everyone keeps coming back. Well, this was ingenuity. This is brave. This was just duplicitous. This was just lying. You're acting like you're like, holy, did you know? It's like, what's that movie with The Invention of Lying? It's like that. It's like they figured out, like the first person figured out lying. We're like, oh, I fucking smart. You're like, no, you just acted like a piece of shit in front of everyone. It's not smart. It's stupid. No one will ever trust you again, nor should they.
Trump will continue to do as he is told by Netanyahu. If you want to know what America will do, spare yourself the fake White House press briefings and start listening to Bibi. We are a colony of Israel. Your politicians are bought and paid for. Taking separate components, there are politicians bought and paid for by AIPAC, by the way. I can't stand AIPAC for the same reason that I hate Act Blue. They support Hakeem Jeffries. But combining that and saying that we are a colony of Israel, and spare yourself the fake White House press briefings. Also implications that everything here, everyone who disagrees, was fake. If it seems like I'm being harsh, it's because you were told that the people telling you the truth were fake, and the algorithm amplifies it, and it made your life worse, and it embarrassed you. You get it?
This is dumb.
By the way, the worst part is you don't even get to celebrate the win.
We win. I mean, in a sense, sort of. I mean, as I've said, like, my takeaway here, this is like a minor W. Sorta. I mean, it would have been better if he just, like, didn't do any of this to begin with. Or, like, I understand, like, maybe it comes down to what degree we had control. I say we. I don't have anything to do with it. But what degree they have control over Israel. And it's like, if Israel, I don't know, if they have control. I don't know, I forget my point. Let's keep watching this.
No war. Good. Done. No nukes in Iran. Great. America is a colony of Israel. Spare yourself all the other fake information and know that you're going to go die for Israel. Which ultimately,
I remember my point. Just saying it was a minor W. Just said it obviously been better if they just didn't do any of this to begin with. So it is like cool in a sense that we saw him did. He did. There is this small grain of truth. These things Steven's saying here, and that like, oh, look at him. He stood up. He said, don't drop those missiles. Like he. For finally, like I think it was after being disrespected over and 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 over again, that he's just like, yeah, fuck this. So, I mean, so there's a minor W in that sense that like it looks like, and even then, that's kind of like an accelerationist argument. Like it literally is. We made things worse, but maybe Trump finally sees the errors of his ways. In how he interacts with the Israeli government. Although I have something we'll cover here in a minute that I think will kind of push back on that a little bit.
Ultimately led to an entire coalition demanding the impeachment of the man you voted for. Candace Owens legitimately told service members that they should seek a dishonorable discharge, which, by the way, wouldn't be a dishonorable discharge. If you look at the way she described it, it would be desertion. Over a war that wasn't happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you just, like, stop showing up, you get desertion. I'll just go and say, I mean, like, I don't know if they were like, hey, you're going to Iran, at least from the perspective of a guy who was in the Air Force in the past, like, if you were just, I guess if you went the conscientious objector route and you're like, I refuse to deploy, I don't know, you'd probably have a really annoying route to go the conscientious objector route, but like you'd end up just getting like a general discharge or something. I mean, yeah, if you just literally stopped showing up, then like, yeah, they could they could put you AWOL or whatever. But either way, it's yeah. I mean, I also like I don't know, isn't Steven supposed to be the fucking constitutionalist here? It's like what fucking undeclared war essentially, and I know this. Oh, is it even a fucking war? They're dropping bombs in another country, like big ass bombs. What are we calling this? Like, it's stupid. All right, let's keep playing this.
LG19 writes, serious question, will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interests of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares?
I mean, obviously it's not that simple, but I agree. I mean, I don't think you'd have to be dishonorably. I think I freeze at a really funny frame of her face. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't think there's anything dishonorable about leaving the military. I think, if anything, there's a little bit of dishonor in staying in the military once you realize what the game is. Somewhat. I mean, I understand a lot of people who, understand what the game is and stick around and do, put their head down and do the thing. I get it. But man, it is a soul-crushing experience every day doing something you hate, and you you realize, especially once you start to realize, like, oh, this thing is only generally contributing to making things worse. It doesn't really, like, when's the last time you were like, woohoo, the U.S. military, they got involved in the conflict. I'm so happy. That really made things go great. Like, no, they just steal your money. Steal your money and kill people. That's literally it. So, like, I don't know why are we fucking supposed to be like, oh my God, she told the military people to not stop going to work. Oh my God. Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. Yes, a parasitic class of people that take your money and use it to kill people. That is what the military is. I'm sorry. And you know what the funny thing is? I know there's probably a lot, I haven't checked the chat in a while. I bet you there's a lot of veterans in the chat that agree with me. That's what they are. So this whole idea we're supposed to get this pearl clutching, like, oh my God, she told them to stop. She told them they shouldn't go to work and kill people. Are you fucking kidding me? She said they shouldn't kill people. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if I'd recommend a friend of mine to just, like, stop showing up to work. Maybe I'd tell him, like, another method of way to go about it, or maybe some sort of scaled way, something to prepare. But yeah. There's nothing dishonorable about it. In fact, once again, on the topic of inversions, like we talked about earlier, it's 100% an inversion. I don't think there's anything more honorable in the world that you could do.
Who cares? Why should you go die in a foreign land? You now have the benefit of 2020. You can see, think about those men and those women who died because they were pitched that they were serving their country because there were...
Oh, real quick, I do want to say, just to the credit, and I don't even really feel like I need to say it, the military is a parasitic class that steals your money and kills people, but there is this small little asterisk of, for the vast majority of them, they thought they genuinely were doing something noble. But the problem is, at some point, especially, it's like you either are just like lying to yourself, or you've realized it. And once you've realized the game, and once you realize you're being tricked, then that same exact intuition that made you want to join should completely flip and go, fuck this, I'm out, I don't want to be here, I do not want to contribute to this. This is the exact opposite that flies in the face of the values of why I joined in the first place. And I understand everyone could do it. I mean, trust me, I just got soft docs recently. You guys realize I was stuck around the reserves for a little bit while, like, it's not like I'm like, perfectly living in the white market or whatever the fuck, like, perfectly free of everything, but not like I'm holier than thou. But I mean, I think people should try to generally move towards their values. And if you are part of an entity that you think shouldn't exist, I don't know. I mean, is that really something you want to invest your life in? I don't know. Let's finish this.
Weapons of mass destruction, right? They were serving their country because the Taliban, they were serving their country, whatever, and these people gave up their lives. And ask yourselves, for what?
Yeah, desert for a war that's not even happening. And here's the thing. Yeah, I get X isn't real life. But it turns into real life if people believe it.
Oh no, people might stop killing people.
And some soldiers, I guarantee you, believed it. Some soldiers still fell for it. Some are still falling for it. Like
I hope they did.
Like Private who is still AWOL and doesn't know the war is over, anti-Semitic Jim. This guy got the short end. He doesn't hate shoes. Look,
in an attic.
People make mistakes. If it was all a mistake, just say it.
No, that's that. That's the end of it. I don't know. All right, let's check the chat. I said some stuff. We got some interesting little rants there. We're already 30 minutes in, one little video. Here we go. Crowd's just mad because the chat keeps giving him shit about being lame and gay. I guess this is what they were probably referring to at Dave, because this definitely does apply to him, sort of, although this is definitely more aimed at Candace. So everyone's saying they also started with Crowder. Yeah. Dave mad skilled in the art of Talmudic argumentation, for show. Did you see anything about South Carolina politician busted for CP? He was part of the Freedom Caucus opposing Israel and then got busted. No, I did not see that. That's kind of wild. All right. I mean, if you got any articles, tag me in it for sure. Marta Mack said she was a Crowder fan as well, back when Lando was in the show. But yeah, and it said once Dave left, he started leaving, so... Never watched Crowder. He always seems like a fag. Yeah, a little bit. It definitely seems a little bit suspect. He's funny and does some good investigative stuff. For the most part, his opinions are Fox News light. That's what Doc Tory says. Yep, 100%. Let's see what all you guys say. All are talking about numerology. I agree with whoever says numerology is gay. I'm sorry. I do think numerology is gay, but there is something to it. It is also, to some degree, I do think there is like elite occult messaging in numerology. But the problem with numerology is any sort of like real, any sort of like over investment in trying to understand that. That's like kind of the purpose of why they use numbers as symbols, is because they're basically undecipherable unless you know. Or like you know what you're looking for and you have all the... But if you don't, you're just losing your fucking mind looking at numbers. So that's why I think numerology is gay. Scrolling through. I guess you guys are arguing about Jesus in the chat now. Oh man, you guys really get into it there. Still going about numerology. What's up, Laney? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Diminishing influence on X. Shooting the bull. Are any wars not planned out? Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. Like this is I know it's kind of stupid to be like, oh, you thought it was planned out? Yes, it very clearly was planned out, as was pointed out by General Wesley Clark. Like, what was that? Like 10, 15, 20 something years? I forget how long. That was a while ago. I don't remember when he made that statement. He's reiterated it multiple times since then. So. Yeah, the war with Iran will continue, but you just won't hear about it. Screen cap this. I don't know if we'll not hear about it. We'll see. I do think it will continue. I mean, we literally just read an article yesterday where they said it will continue. So, like, that's literally what Israel's position is that it will continue. Crowder united with Daily Wire to attack Tucker after the Rogan interview, killing civilians is evil, and at the same weekend, we had a betrayal by House Speaker funding Ukraine. Because Israel. Yep, all about them and their Israel. Scrolling through. Jose, you need to get Gary the numbers guy. Isn't he the fucking annoying fucking dude on Fresh and Fit? I have no desire. He looks, frankly, I mean, the only times I've ever seen him, I don't know. I've only seen nothing but clips of him, but I don't know why anyone would like him. I don't know. Something about him just gross. So I don't know. I have no idea the substance of the matter of the things he talks about, nor what he even talks about. Don't care. I've only seen small clips, and I find him to be a gross human being, and I'm not really interested in having him on. I don't know. Saying I should get Conscious Man 7. Don't know who that is, but I might be open to that. Here we go from Laney. I think Trump is more philo-Semitic / old boomer brain on Jays and Israel than anything else. Yeah, I think that was a little bit more than my takeaway. I was like, holy shit, this dude straight up fucked children at the beginning of this. And then by the end, I was like, I don't know, maybe he fucked children and he's a boomer. Maybe not like children. Maybe it was more like a 16-year-old. You know, I mean, that's still a child, but you know what I mean? It was not like, it's still horrible. It's still a horrible thing to do, but the difference between, there's differences and worse, you know, if it was like an 11-year-old. But point being is he's probably like, 17, 16, and then also the boomer brain. So maybe it's a combo. Maybe it's a combo thing. I don't know. But yeah, the boomer brain, I definitely got boomer out of it. It seemed like a boomer kind of realizing like, oh shit. It's like kind of all coming together. Oh crap. Kind of like the cognitive dissonance hitting him at once. Like, what the fuck? Let's scroll them. And then we have Posobiec talking about how CIA and Mossad are feuding right now in Bannon's war room. Yeah, I actually had that clip to bring up the other day. The video was being glitchy, so I ended up playing it. Then someone says his co-host had an episode talking about how the Jewish and Muslim are waiting for the Antichrist. Scrolling through. All right. Hey, what's up, Comment Mama? What it do? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Are we talking about the same military that forced people to take the jab and nuked their own soldiers? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about nuking. Although my stepdad was actually in the military, and he was like handling nuclear material forever ago, and he's like pretty sure he's like the only one left in his unit. So he had like, but he gets paid out the ass for military disability for that shit because they fried the fuck out of him with radiation. Like I said, I think he's the only like the last one living, and he still has like weird skin cancers all the time. So because he was like at the tail end of Vietnam, he joined, and I don't remember exactly. He's handling some sort of nuclear material while he was in. All right. Man, you guys are chatty today. Taking me a while to get through these comments. I also say, there's Marmac says, when you officially join, how long do you have to stay in to not be dishonorably discharged? I don't think there's like a time. I don't know. I'm just saying there's ways you could go without, and they almost never give people dishonorable discharge unless you like literally just like stop showing up or something, or like I don't know, get busted for meth or something insane. So, Gerald says I keep trying to get Jose apply for disability so he can donate what he doesn't need to starving Palestinians. Yeah, at some point I guess I could at least logically be like I'm getting my money back for whatever taxes they steal from me in the future. I don't know. It feels gay to go through that process. Oh, here's Eddie saying usually at least a 3-year active duty, I guess, to not get dishonorable, and then usually 4 and then 5 inactive years, he said. Numerology and astrology are fake and gay, but some people believe it and use it for cover for their evil shit. Yeah, exactly. 2007 is when he said it. So 2007, that's almost 20 years ago. So just a little bit short of 20. All right. Time to wage slaves. See you, Gerald. Get to work, motherfucker. Right. He was in right after Vietnam. Man, that would be incredible. Yeah, I should get my stepdad on here sometime. He's a real cool guy. Got an interesting life. Probably have a lot of interesting things to say about the time while he was in. So maybe, yeah. You have to be a real piece of retarded shit to get dishonorable. Exactly. Yeah, like Eddie said, like, oh, this whole like, oh, you're gonna dishonorable. No, these guys would probably get like generals. You could literally be like, I refuse to deploy if they like, and you probably would just get a general discharge. Not a big deal. They really, and especially, it seems like over time they've laxed up. And I don't know, maybe it's also just my impression. Like when I first joined, they scare the shit out of you about every little thing. But then later you realize, like, oh, not a big deal. Someone's saying Gary the Numbers guy runs a scam cult. Perhaps he does. I don't know. I don't get good vibes from him. I have no idea what his deal is. So Andrew Jacobs saying he's feuding with Tim Pool or whether or not he makes his employees sign NDAs. Okay, weird argument. Yeah, I saw you post. You sent me DMs about that. Weird argument. But okay. All right, let's go ahead and keep it moving. All right, let's get into some foreign policy. Since we warmed up with that, we spent way too long on that. But let's get into some foreign policy. We got Trump says he'll bomb Iran again if it restarts an enrichment program, but he doesn't think it will happen. This is from Dave DeCamp over antiwar.com. So President Trump said on Wednesday that he would bomb Iran again if the country restarted its nuclear enrichment program, but he insisted that he doesn't think that will happen. The president made the comments on Sunday at the NATO summit in The Hague. When asked if Tehran rebuilding its enrichment facilities would prompt more U.S. strikes, Trump replied, sure, but I'm not going to have to worry about that. It's gone for years. When asked how long he thinks the U.S. bombing set back Iran's nuclear program, Trump said, I think it's basically decades because I don't think they'll ever do it again. I think they've had it. I mean, they just went through hell. They've had it. The last thing they want to do is enrich anything right now. The fuck? Oh, someone just knocked on my door. See if they go away. What the fuck? That was weird. They walked away and then came back. I'm expecting no one. All right, give me a second. I'm going to go check and see who this is. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Fucking solicitors. Sorry, guys. Fucking A. That pisses me off. All right. Well, let's scroll through the chat real quick. See if there's anything new in there since I stepped out for a minute. See if there's anything worthwhile in there. Dishonorable discharge equals the claps, and they said. Numerology is a mechanism for predictions. The issue is altered history and information like the missed 13th month or different values, systems, etc. All right. Numerology is a mechanism for schizos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is how you fucking lose your audience in the sauce. All right, yeah, with Steven Crowder at the door, he's saying, fucking stop talking shit. All right, let's get back into it. When asked how long he thinks the U.S. bombing set back Iran's nuclear program, Trump said, I think it's basically decades, because I don't think they'll ever do that again. I think they've had it. I mean, they just went through hell. They had it. The last thing they want to do is enrich anything right now. They want to recover. I mean, I think they're about to say exactly what I'm thinking in my head. There we go. Iranian officials, yeah, they did. Iranian officials have vowed they would continue uranium enrichment, which I knew that, following the U.S. attack, but it's unclear how long it would take for Iran to start the program. Trump is claiming the U.S. bombing obliterated the 3 nuclear facilities that were targeted, while a preliminary intelligence assessment said it didn't destroy the core of the sites and set back the nuclear program by only a few months, which the president and his top officials have rejected. DNI, Tulsi Gabbard insists on Wednesday that new intelligence confirms Trump's claims, and the assessment that was widely reported on was written with low confidence. Gabbard said that if the Iranians chose to rebuild, they would have to rebuild all 3 facilities entirely, which would likely take years to do. Trump also claimed on Wednesday the U.S. and Iran will hold negotiations next week, although so far there's been no confirmation from the Iranian side. He said that a nuclear deal may not be necessary now that Iran's facilities have been destroyed. We may sign an agreement. To me, I don't think it's that necessary. They had a war, they fought, and now they're going back to their world. I don't care if I had an agreement, if I have an agreement or not, the president said. We destroyed the nuclear. So on that, I would say, fine, whatever, Trump, you destroyed the nuclear. Oh, great and powerful Trump. Who fucking cares? Just leave him the fuck alone. The only problem with that is, like, it is a little bit of a double-sided thing. So it's like, this is, oh, okay, well, we're out of this and we don't need a deal. And so it's almost like, really, it can you can almost just wash your hands and be like, just Iran, we're going to have nothing to do with it. The rest of my administration, the next president can deal with that, whatever. Obviously, I don't think Netanyahu will let it be that way. But let's say, all good things, whatever. Like, it'd still be better to get a deal, but maybe he's just like, fuck this, I don't want to deal with it. So maybe this is the best we're going to get out of it. I still think it'd be better if we got some sort of deal, although, like, ironically, like, actually the best case scenario is if somehow magically they got a nuke, like, immediately, but that's not going to happen. So the second best case scenario is that there's a deal, in my opinion. The deal is that way we can keep them from getting nukes and we can keep us from going to war with them, take off any sort of incentives for war. That'd be fucking great. And there's been plenty to show that diplomacy works far better at denuclearization than violence does. Violence causes everyone to sprint to the nuke. And even if you do destroy one enemy looking for a nuke, you've just incentivized every single other enemy to sprint to the nuke. So, yeah. But hey, whatever. Maybe, just maybe, we can get, okay, he can fucking, this is obviously just a posturing. This is posturing. I mean, here's the DNI. Here's Tulsi saying the new intelligence confirming. He says, new intelligence confirms what POTUS has stated numerous times. Iran's nuclear facilities have been destroyed. If the Iranians chose to rebuild, they would have to rebuild all 3 facilities entirely, which would likely take years to do. Propaganda media has deployed their usual tactics, selectively release portions of illegally leaked classified intelligence assessments, intentionally leaving out the fact that the assessment was written with low confidence to try to undermine, which, I mean, I don't even know what the point of that. Of course, this is probably low confidence, because it's like, I don't know where they're getting this intel from, but this is all probably still very early stuff. So, just as that one was. So, I mean, I don't have a strong opinion on whether it's destroyed or not still. I have no idea. I just think it's retarded. They have a strong opinion on it. To try to undermine President Trump's decisive leadership and the brave servicemen and women who flawlessly executed truly historic mission to keep the American people safe and secure. And we also got here, I thought, and then this is kind of more ongoing news here. Here's Gates. He shared this tweet, here's one of the more recent things from Trump. This is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying maybe we have a small W and like, oh, cool. We'll maybe Trump's finally, getting hip to the bullshit that Israel's all about. Nope, doesn't seem that way. Here's something very much pointing to the opposite. Here is one of the longest goddamn fucking tweets ever. I think it may even be longer. I think it may even have an extension tweet. But here, let's read this. This is breaking news. This is from Trump. I was shocked to hear the state of Israel, which has just had one of its greatest moments in history and is strongly led by Bibi Netanyahu, is continuing its ridiculous witch hunt against their great wartime prime minister. Bibi and I just went through hell together, fighting a very tough and brilliant longtime enemy of Israel, Iran, and Bibi could not have been better, sharper, or stronger in his love for the incredible Holy Land. Anybody else would have suffered losses, embarrassment, and chaos. Bibi Netanyahu was a warrior, like perhaps no other warrior in the history of Israel, and the result was something that nobody thought was possible, a complete elimination of potentially one of the biggest and most powerful nuclear weapons anywhere in the world. Yeah, the nuclear weapons. Yeah, okay. And it was going to happen soon. We were fighting literally for the survival of Israel, and there's nobody in Israel's history that fought harder or more competently than Bibi Netanyahu. Despite all this, I just learned that Bibi has been summoned to court on Monday for the continuation of this long-running, he has been going through this horror show since May of 2020, unheard of. This is the first time a sitting Israeli prime minister has ever been on trial, politically motivated case concerning cigars, a Bugs Bunny doll, and numerous other unfair charges, in order to do him great harm. Such a witch hunt for a man who has given so much is unthinkable to me. He deserves much better than this, and so does the state of Israel. Bibi Netanyahu's trial should be canceled immediately, or a pardon given to a great hero who has done so much for the state. Perhaps there is no one that I know who could have worked in better harmony with the President of the United States, me, than Bibi Netanyahu. It was the United States of America that saved Israel, and now it's going to be the United States of America that saves Bibi Netanyahu. This travesty of justice cannot be allowed. So that's where Trump is, running to the rescue of Netanyahu, although I don't really know what effect this would even have in this. Now it kind of makes me a little bit concerned. Now, what the fuck happens when, if he does get to, say, things go sideways for Netanyahu here? How do we respond? How is that going to affect things? I know, that'd be interesting. Let's watch this video from Bannon, because I guess he covered it too. So let's see what he has to say.
Asked the toughest questions, but he was fantastic. But one of the points I wanted to get to was this explosive story in the Washington Post about Netanyahu and his government, and I know it's caused quite a stir in Jerusalem, quite a stir in Tel Aviv. It's an explosive story. Grace, if you get it back into the chats, I need everybody to read it, because over there they're very nervous about it, because it exposes, they're supposed to be an ally and supposed to be a working with the United States. Is quite evident. And I say this, Newsweek talked to me a little while ago. I don't know if it's in the headline, but they're a protectorate, not an ally. We don't have an alliance with them, first off, so technically they're not an ally. It's just like people call Ukraine an ally. Ukraine's not an ally. Israel's not an ally. We have a special relationship. That special relationship, we're really a protectorate, and they played that to the heel. And I think, it's time for a rethinking and a reset of that. We can never again get drawn in. President Trump was as adamant as I've ever seen him in The Hague. The 12-day war is over. The nuclear capability of Iran, of the Persian, has been totally obliterated. In case you didn't understand that, I think he sent out another Truth Social after that. I understand now there's going to be an 8 a.m. press conference with Pete Hegseth and others, maybe even some of the pilots, tomorrow morning at the Pentagon. Clearly, Real America's Voice will cover that. I'm going to work with my staff. We're going to figure this out. I may even we'll start live a little early, at least for some commentary and observations after that happens. Maybe get post-show to focus too, because it's very important. And President Trump's worked on this. But the most important thing is...
All right, I thought this video maybe had more to do with it. Fuck it, let's move on. He's boring me now. Let's get into the next story. Iran's parliament passes bill to suspend cooperation with IAEA in response to U.S. bombing. Well, who's surprised? I'm sure not. So on Wednesday, Iran's parliament passed a bill that would effectively suspend Tehran's cooperation with the UN IAEA to move that came in response to U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities. The bill now needs to be reviewed by Iran's Guardian Council, and the Supreme National Security Council will make the final decision on whether to implement the bill. Which, all that means is that then Iran wouldn't allow IAEA inspectors to enter the country unless the security of the country's nuclear facilities and that of peaceful nuclear activities is guaranteed. So the Speaker of Iran's parliament criticized IAEA for not formally condemning the attacks on Iran's nuclear program, which makes sense. So, so as I said, once again, sprinting towards the nuke. Now, do I think they are sprinting towards the nuke? We still have the fatwa on, which is, I guess, the religious, restriction on nukes. So we still have that. So I still don't think that's going to happen. Although, ironically, the irony here is what We just got floated out regime change in the past week, and killing Khamenei has been thrown out a bunch. I think Netanyahu even said, "Oh, well, that'd solve the problem if we could just kill him." So, okay, well, I mean, once again, I don't fully understand their form of government or their, the mullah system or whatever, but it's from my understanding, the fatwa was issued by Khamenei, I think. So I believe that's something issued by the religious leader. So, if you're trying to kill the religious leader, the one that has a fatwa on it, it's I don't know what you get next. You may get someone next that is doesn't have those same religious beliefs. So I don't know. It's almost an ideal situation having these guys here right now, and it's trying to force into something else seems like a good way to create chaos. But I think sometimes that's what they want to do. To remind you guys too, they're still murdering people over in Gaza. It's going to keep on going on. They killed 74 in the past 24 hours, wounded 391. So at least 14 were killed while waiting near aid distribution sites. So hey, looks like the numbers are coming down a little bit there. That's I guess good. I mean, can you really every single day murder 30 plus people in aid thing? I mean, I don't know. I watched the Piers Morgan thing today, and he had some fucking propagandist for Israel, and he literally read off each day there was an aid disaster or whatever you want to call them, and it was pretty. I don't know. It's a pretty good way to dress down a Zionist, because they got to sit there for a good couple minutes. Go, yeah, you're 30 on June 15th. 73 on this, or just and over and over, and it's just yeah. So that's what's going on, and now things are refocusing on Gaza. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, I'm not too hopeful. As I said, I was oh cool, we got a small W out of all this, and like I said, the silver lining here I think was that, oh look, maybe Trump has maybe learned, hey, we can't be trusting this little country over here, or at the very least Bibi. And judging by that tweet we just read a bit ago, I don't know if he learned that lesson. Although Doc Torrey in the chat pointed out, I thought it was pretty smart. He said, how many people actually knew about the court cases before this tweet? I feel like this is a backhanded compliment. So it could be. That's a smart point. He could be playing 4D chess and be like, oh, fuck you, BB. All right, cool. We'll make this known. I mean, maybe this was him exposing Israel, but I don't know. I kind of doubt it. So we'll see. Let's get into, all right, 3. Picking up in the settler ramp stuff is picking up too. So we've got 3 Palestinians killed, and also in a separate, a 15-year-old boy killed in Jenin. That was by the IDF. But this was particularly wild. I just wanted to go over this because this is an example of what I tried to explain to you guys about. These are literally modern-day pogroms. On Wednesday night, Jewish settlers attacked the town of Kafr Malik, east of Ramallah in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, resulting in the killing of 3 Palestinians by the Israeli military. According to the Palestinian news agency WAFA, dozens of settlers rampaged through the town, setting homes and cars on fire as residents from the town and neighboring villages attempted to confront them. Local sources told Al Jazeera that the Israeli military provided protection for the settlers and fired on the Palestinian residents. Jafir Hamayel, a resident of Kafr Malik, told the Israeli newspaper Haaretz that the military was responsible for killing the 3 Palestinians, but that the settlers also opened fire with handguns. The settlers attacked and set on fire a house in the village, and the youth came out to protect it. They set cars and houses on fire, and the army shot at us. And this is consistent. This always seems to be the consistent case. I remember there was the case I usually point to a lot is that one documentary filmmaker that literally they fucking came to his little village, a mob of settlers. They yanked him out of his house and beat the fucking shit out of him in front of his wife and children, damn near to the borderline death. The military came in and broke it up, and then when they broke it up, they arrested the guy who got the shit kicked out of him by the group. They just told them the other guys to scram, and then arrested that guy, and then days later he came out. So, and here we have, according to, obviously, I guess the Palestinians, so it is a little bit biased, but according to them, it's they're coming out here setting houses on fire, which we've covered numerous other examples of settlers doing shit like this, setting crops on fire, all sorts of stuff. Just destruction, and then essentially trying to run people out. So they came in, they set houses on fire, and when people came out, Then they started, started attacking them essentially, and then the army came in and they started shooting the Palestinians. So it's the army is essentially taking the side of the mob. This is what pogroms are. The Israeli military claimed that its forces were fired at from within the village, and the Israeli troops returned fire. Himayel said the attack occurred while the town was still mourning Amar Mutaz Hamiel, a 13-year-old boy killed by the IDF in Kafr Malik on Monday. In a separate incident, Wafa reported that a 15-year-old Palestinian boy was killed by the Israeli military during a raid in the town of Al Yaman, west of Jenin. Settler attacks were also reported in other parts of the West Bank, including near Nablus, where a gang of settlers uprooted 80 olive trees, so they once again destroying their crops. Israeli military and settler violence has surged in the West Bank since October 7th, 2023. At least 950 Palestinians, including 200 children, have been killed in the West Bank in East Jerusalem in that time. That's since October 7th. There's been almost 1,000 Palestinians that have died in the West Bank, where there hasn't been a war. So that's how they treat their Palestinians that are within their geographical domain, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's what they call them when they're in. Technically, they're not at war. This is a group they're not fighting. This is just an occupied group that lives among them. So this is how they treat them, and they're not openly at war with them here. Settlers have been emboldened by the Netanyahu government, also by the new Trump administration, which openly opposes the idea of a Palestinian state and the expansion of illegal Jewish settlements. Here we go. And then we also got, I want to cover this, HTS offshoot claiming credit for Damascus church bombing. Now, just kind of cut to get to the crux of it here. The HTS, a lot of people probably don't remember what the hell that is. That's Hayat Tahrir al-Sham is what it's called. It's an Islamist group. It's essentially the government running Syria right now, which was basically a offshoot of Al-Qaeda, I believe. And apparently it looks like there's a little bit of a civil war going on in this group, because now you have an offshoot that's bombing, essentially carrying out bombings in defiance of the main group. So I don't know, I just think we're seeing perhaps the tricklings of dissent. And I don't know, let's be real. We all thought this was going to fall apart. It'd be great if it didn't fall apart and the peace reigned, but I think we all knew what was going to happen with Syria. I do want to comment, though, I do find it particularly funny how much, pay attention for those who do listen to a lot of political analysis out there. I've noticed a big increase lately, and this is especially with all their talks of regime change, where they've started pointing to Syria as an example of a positive. They're calling it this like a bottom-up revolution or regime change, as opposed to, because this is how deranged these fucking people are. Like, remember that regime change comment Trump made a while back that very clearly was him inferring or implying, like, you knew what he's doing. He's implying perhaps regime change, wink, wink. And then a lot of people now, what seems to be settled on, the people coping for him is, oh, no. What he meant was bottom-up regime change. Like, he meant, like, the people should overthrow him. And so then everyone points, and now they're pointing to, and people keep saying, oh yeah, like Syria, look how much better this has been. And people have been pointing to how this is an improvement because it was done bottom up. That wasn't done bottom up. If you think Syria was bottom up, I've got a bridge to sell you. Maybe like the moment of wasn't this like literally over heavy-handed military response from specific, but it was all multiple there was all sorts of, reports coming out of different intelligence that we were given to different groups, and I think even weapons and this and that, and literally the offensive that ended it all the most recent one or whatever. I forget the events that happened there, but point being, it was like, I forget what my fucking point was. But anyways, point being is they're pointing to Syria as this like positive example of bottom up, and it's like, I don't think so. And then one, it's not that, and two, it's also not going to play out that way. So I don't know, they're on a pretty weak ground, but I do think it's worthwhile pointing out that this is going on. I think part of this dissent stems from this right here. Here's Israel confirming direct normalization talks with Syria. So we have essentially this group that this guy used to head up Al-Qaeda, whose whole thing was like being anti-Israel, and now you have him. Let's be real. To what degree Israel controls the Syrian government is debatable, but let's be real. us and Israel orchestrated the situation there to essentially facilitate a regime change for many, many years. So, and Al-Qaeda took over, and that guy particularly, and yeah, maybe he wasn't like literally, maybe he's not literally a puppet, but to some degree he knows why he's there. Probably he's had all sorts of talks from the jump about how, we need to be more friendly with Israel. That's fine, but I mean, it is good to have peace and not try to do violence. That's great. But it's, considering the group that he comes from, and if you're coming off as essentially a puppet to Israel, I don't think it's going to work out so well in the long run. But I don't think Israel minds either way. Either they get a puppet in that region or they get chaos in that region. Either way, they win. All right, let's get into... All right, one more update. One more update on some things, and then we'll move into some other stories. Or actually, I'll move into the chat. It's been a while since I've checked in on you guys. I wanted to give you guys an update on the slam toddler thing yesterday. Found some reporting to corroborate the Israel thing. Still obviously I've only found one reporting on the fact that the suspect, it's not even like he did it. I mean, it's weird calling him a suspect when it's on video, but he, the reporting here is that he is a dual citizen of Belarus and Israel. So this is an Israeli, is what it appears, and an Iranian child. But the great update we've gotten is that toddler slammed to floor by monster, wakes from coma with no brain damage. Says God save that boy. They keep pointing to him being high on drugs again while still only referring to cannabis, so it's still weird that they keep leaning on this high on drugs thing. Maybe they're hoping people will not look into the J part of it. I don't know. But hey, the kid's okay. I wanted to give you, well, maybe not, I don't know about okay, but he's alive. He's not in a coma. So that's great. I don't know. That was a really fucked up story. So I'm glad that there is a happy ending. And I guess happy ending to some degree. I mean, it's still sad that he got slammed to the floor, but he's good. But who knows who's not good? this pastor that we're about to cover in a second. Let's go through the chat, see what you guys have to say. All right. Iran's right to reject the IEA, but it also does kind of play the push to isolate them. Yep, you are correct. Man, my ear's doing some weird shit right now. All right. Bannon's like the weirdo guy at work that's had like 4 divorces, and you get him worked up about something, and you get a few minutes and to kill at the end of the day. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Yeah. Man, my hair is being fucking wonky. All right, let's keep going. If Iran wanted to rush to nukes, they'd most likely get them from someone else. It's not impossible for a secular IRGC faction to smuggle them in against the fatwa, to be fair. Perhaps. John Black said Ian Carroll put BB on blast for the BB files. Perhaps. Yeah, I saw some of that. I mean, but yeah, let's keep going. Pretty wild to say a Syrian government controlled by Al-Qaeda is progressing towards democracy. Yeah. Let's see what else you guys got. Jose, did you see the birth clinic bomber committed suicide in jail? Yeah, we covered that yesterday. Wild shit. Weird story for sure. I mean, hopefully maybe more will come out of that. So thanks for the update on the kid, Jose. That hurt my heart. Thankful child's at least okay. Yeah, that's from King David for sure. Yeah, cannabis isn't the typical slamming the baby goy in the ground plant. Datura, however, yeah. Bannon went to jail for Trump and the wall, so he's not full of shit. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. He did go to jail for him, so it's like I do think to some degree, I do think he buys this shit. So I mean, I don't know. That's not true though. I say that, and there's plenty of examples in my line of research. It sounds douchey when I say that, but where there's people get burned, assets get burned. Sometimes you got to get burned, or else you look like an asset. It's part of the game. So. Yeah, I don't know. So, all right, let's get into the next story. Let's play this. I got a bunch of you guys tagged me in this. This is a wild story. Let's go ahead and play this.
Adam Schiff, this man right here, he's accused of killing New River pastor Bill Shaneman, and he admits to our camera, to our Lauren Clark, that he is responsible for that brutal murder.
He made no bones about it. He says this was part of a plan to kill 14 Christian leaders in 10 states across the country. Lauren Clark now joins us live to explain, and we've got to warn you up front, these details are disturbing.
Well, John and Ellen, first of all, before I go into the details of that interview, I want to start with the man who is the victim in this case. I think that is super important. Pastor Bill Sheinaman. He was beloved in his community. This was a man, according to people who knew him really well, who would do anything to help out a person in need, a light in his community, a light that Adam Schiff admitted to me right here in the Coconino jail about 2 hours ago that he took. He showed no remorse or regret for his actions. Led into the room in shackles, Adam Christopher Schiff admitted to murder. Did you kill Pastor Bill Sheinaman?
Yes.
He justified his actions with religion, citing his twisted belief that Christian pastors are leading people.
By the way, I see I find it really weird. I don't know if maybe some of you guys maybe have a better idea. This may mean nothing, but I'm kind of curious. Does this, any of you guys, maybe any of you guys were prison guards or worked as lawyers? I don't know, maybe someone has some insight here. Does this at all strike you as odd? I'm not sure. I guess I don't know exactly when this happened, but there is, I guess, all right, I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit, assuming you guys know stuff I've seen. There's also like a 15-minute interview I've seen of him with some other lady that I watched this morning. To him explaining his reasoning and stuff, and then this girl as well, and it seems pretty well produced. So it seems weird that, like, I don't know, that we have media like this. Just, I don't know, it just seems odd to me. I mean, is it maybe someone in the media game, or it just seems odd that they would have this sort of access. But it does seem like some weird little town, so maybe that's just why it's some small town jail, and you're like, whatever, I don't care, come interview him. I don't know. It seems odd to me, but let's keep going.
Into a false path by following Jesus. He said Pastor Bill was the first in a plot he called Operation First Commandment, aimed at killing and then crucifying 14 Christian leaders across the country. He admitted that he was about to kill 2 priests at the Chapel of the Holy Cross in Sedona before he was arrested by police.
The day that I was going to execute that priest, I tried getting into the back of his car, and there was like an older lady that was on like a small little bicycle that got into my way, and I was just going to get into the back seat and tell him to drive to his house.
I asked if Adam was ever victimized by anyone in the Christian faith. He said no. He said his family is Christian and that he had a good childhood. He denied being mentally unwell. But Pastor Bill, speaking to people who knew and loved him, his family, he helped people get back on the right track in this world. He helped a woman who was living out of her car go into a house and get her life back on track. Do you think what you took was precious or valuable in any way? Adam answered that question with a religious tangent. He said he was not sorry for what he did.
Will I apologize for my actions? Absolutely not.
Adam also told me that he had used drugs before, but he did not believe that that is impacting his mental state. He also said he would be okay with execution. Reporting live here in Flagstaff, Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.
Yeah, this is a bizarre one. Like I said, there's another 15-minute interview I watched this morning where it kind of goes into his, essentially his reasoning was, I've seen people posts say he's a Jewish extreme. I guess technically, I don't know if he's literally Jewish. I'm kind of confused here on what's going on. Like I said, I'm still gathering information. Watched one other interview. Apparently, the tattoo in his neck is like Yahweh. I don't know if that's just a different pronunciation, if that has something to do with the translation, or what the difference between that and Yahweh is. I think that might just be the Hebrew, where it's like the simplified. Anyways, so that's what that is. Also, I guess his whole reasoning behind these killings is that this is why he's calling these the first commandment, or Operation First Commandment, is because the first commandment's like, you shall have no other gods before me. So the literal first commandment. And so he interprets that as like, that's like the most important. And from there, I don't remember if there was ever anything in the Bible about if you break the first commandment, death or anything like that. So I don't know if he has actually any sort of, scriptural grounding there. But his understanding is that essentially, like, they're breaking the first commandment. They have no other gods before them. And yes, his reasoning being, yes, they're worshipers of Jesus. And he says there's and then where it says, thou shalt have no other gods before me, and then he's saying how Christianity is referring to Jesus as God. And then also, like, he's saying that that's nonsensical because the idea of, like, I forget what verse he referred to, some verse before, that, like, there is no other God but me or something like that, some verse. And from there, they take that as that means that Jesus is a fraud. And so, therefore, anyone preaching Jesus' word is putting other gods before God. The God he interprets Yahweh, the one and only God. And he also he sees the reason why he wants to be, I think they said something about his him being getting, like, the death penalty. His reasoning is part of his explanation, is part of his argument to prove that Jesus is not God, is that his story is that God sent him to earth to be killed, to essentially sacrifice his only son. And his argument that no God would do that to his only son. And so then he goes, I am God's son. Like, I see him as my dad. I am his son. He's even said that. And then he goes, and so I want them to give me the death penalty as quick as possible. And the reason being, he says, is to prove that God wouldn't kill his son. Essentially, the point saying, he's essentially testing them. He's saying, fucking kill me. You can't. God's protecting me. That's basically what he's doing. Although, like, we all know how we don't all know, but, like, the death penalty, if anyone out there has this, like, concept that death penalty is, like, in any state, is like, you killed some people, all right, cool, well, we're going to murder you now, and it's a pretty expedited process, and it's the appeal system isn't crazy, and you maybe you get, like, one, and you fucking one and done, and then, okay, now we kill you. In pretty short time. Nope, that's not the case. It's almost, if anything, I think the stat is something ridiculous. Like, I think most people on death row just die. Like, they don't actually get killed. Like, I don't know. It's ridiculous the how infrequently they actually kill people. I mean, I'm not a proponent of the death penalty, but it is kind of ridiculous if you think about it. So it's because it's like, in essence, we don't really have one. I don't know. But point being is, it's like him being like, oh, kill me. It's like, they're not going to do that. Yeah, you might get the death penalty, but yeah, it's probably not going to happen. So that's his reasoning. Now, like, I did watch the interview. So far as obviously the show, glowy stuff. Did I catch any glowy stuff? Did I see anything weird? I don't know. I can't read his body language to that degree. I don't know. This feels odd to me, but I don't know what to make of it. I don't know. Let's take a moment. I'm going to pop the chat, see what you guys' thoughts are. Maybe you guys have more. This is still pretty new. I don't know. Maybe, like I always tell you guys, keep your eyes and ears open for me. Tag me and stuff if you see any more new stuff, because I don't know. Maybe there's more stuff coming out. So. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out more. But let's pop to the chat, see what you guys got to say. Gotta say, at least bro had ambitious goals. Respect. Yeah, he was going for 14 because his reasoning was he was going for 14. They got him on the first one, and he was going for 14. His reasoning is because there was 13 tribes of Israel, which were there 13? For some reason, I thought there were 12. Which I don't know. Whatever, 13. But then he said the last one was for Adam. The first person, Adam and Eve. And the reasoning being is because that's actually God's first son. And essentially, so the point being is, like, the last one being Adam to, I guess, some sort of fly in the face of Jesus. I don't know. Someone says Juan says up to all up to the warden who runs the county jail. Feds is different. Yeah. So the Rise of Liberty said it does seem really odd that how soon after that they would produce such a highly well edited piece about the killer where he admits to it wholeheartedly. Yeah, it feels weird, right? And it's not just her. There was also that 15-minute, like, even probably more better produced one, which is some girl had some sort of true crime podcast or something. I wonder if it pops up in these things here. Yep, here it is right here. This is from Brianna Whitney, from the host of True Crime Arizona TV. So they got on True Crime Arizona TV, which is okay. So that was an official one though. So CBS 5, it's their local affiliate or whatever. So, and this is the one in question that I'm referring to. You can see here. So
Easter.
But yeah, you guys go watch on your own. We're not going to watch a full 15-minute video, but either way. Two fairly well-produced ones came pretty quickly. Although I guess it seems like local people, so I could see how they'd be like, holy shit, this is game time. If you were in your local rinky-dink little area and then some shit like this popped off. All right, let's get back in the chat. The interview feels completely staged. It does feel that way. I mean, it is staged, though, in the sense that, like, it is somewhat for a show. So to some degree, it is staged. But now, is it completely fake? I don't know. It feels off, but I mean, this is. I don't know. I don't know. This is such a bizarre situation. I don't know what to make of this. So, yeah, someone's saying so he is Jewish. I don't know if he literally is Jewish or if he just came to some weird, bizarre understanding. So, I don't know. This whole thing feels like some sort of fake goy slop shit. Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah, it's 13. The grandkids of Israel was adopted as his own before he died. Okay. Whoa, a cute white chick with a true crime prod. That's crazy. I've never seen one of those. Yeah, this is Rabbi Shmuley tier bait. I mean, is it though? Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to make of this. I mean, is this the angle? Are we trying to? I mean, I don't know. Are we trying to get him to believe that this is the problem? Are we going against Israel now? Like, I just don't understand what the angle is here. Like, I don't know. This is bizarre. Like, this is the exact opposite of what I would have expected to be seeded out into the world right now. Like, I would assume some sort of, I don't know, pushing some other stuff. So, yeah. Weird stuff. All right, let's keep moving. Let's get into the next story. This is from Ken. FBI Director Kash Patel is reallocating Bureau resources from violent crime and immigration to counterterrorism due to expected blowback from U.S. support for Israel's war with Iran. Not to take away from the other priorities of the administration, getting rid of criminals in our communities. Let's actually read this. This is a statement. Or not read it. Let's go ahead and play it.
Push that out. And not to take away from the other priorities of the administration. They're equally as important. Getting rid of criminals in our communities, illegals in our communities. But right now, the focus, given the nature, especially what just happened, has to be on protecting the homeland and protecting our communities, especially since the prior administration allowed so many thousands of known or suspected terrorists into this country and didn't account for them. And we now have prioritized looking for them. So we have a great partnership at DOJ, and we're thankful to have the DAG helping us lead that mission.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, instead of actual law enforcement, get ready, guys, for more false flags. So here we go. FBI is moving resources from crime and immigration to terrorism due to Israel/Iran fallout. So the FBI is reallocating resources from countering violent crimes and illegal immigration to counter terrorism cases due to expected blowback from the war against Iran, Bureau Director Kash Patel said on Monday. Not to take away from other priorities in the administration, getting rid of criminals in our communities, illegals in our communities, but right now, the focus, given the nature of what just happened, has to be on protecting the homeland. Following his remarks, CBS News reported Tuesday the memo was distributed to FBI field office directors in the past 48 hours, instructing them to focus resources on terror threats, including domestically. Like, yes, fine, like, we're fucking going full Gladio, let's fucking do it. Including domestic. According to a separate memo from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the threat of sleeper cells has never been higher. Oh, I believe you. It's just not in the way you'd like me to. Though CBP doesn't have any specific intelligence. Patel's renewed focus on terrorism follows his early decision to prioritize violent crime and illegal immigration. Source in the FBI complained to CBS that they were pressured to maximize the number of immigration arrests. The move towards counterterrorism also means the public will likely see more cases involving questionable tactics by undercover FBI informants and agents. In his book, The Terror Factory, investigative journalist Trevor Aronson found that nearly half of the post-9/11 terrorist cases involving Muslims were provoked by undercover FBI informant provocateurs. Headline USA has documented many such cases, including one in recent months where an FBI informant posing as a pro-Iranian terrorist was revealed to have made over $600,000 working for the Bureau. Might have to cover that one tomorrow. I don't think I ever caught that. All right, we'll come back. We'll cover that one tomorrow. I'm going to throw it in right there. So you're seeing the well, you didn't see the I just bookmarked it. I accidentally didn't share the tab. But all right, back here. All right, that was the end of it. But we'll cover that one tomorrow. I actually want to dig into that one. That sounds interesting. I didn't even know about that story. But, I mean, there are many stories like that, especially if you've read that book or you've just existed in this realm and, I don't know, read up on things. This is a tale as old as time with the FBI. So, yeah, let's check in the chat. See what you guys got to say. It'd be interesting to know who the victims were and what they were into. I'm assuming you're referring to the murder story we just talked about. Well, it was just the one guy. They showed him. It was the one old guy. He got busted after the first one. I think he already had his next 1 or 2 targets picked out. So, yeah. Soul Explorer says, looks like he did enough meth to form a tight relationship with the shadow people. Yeah. Speaking of false flags, you see the false flags and fake MAGA report. Yeah, we covered on the show a while back. It was I think it's the one that the last one that Jordan Peterson is the thumbnail. Big surprise because of Israel actions. Americans need to pay for it. Yup. John Black says, did they install a river outside the J. Edgar Hoover building for Kashyap Patel to take his at work shits? Fuck that Jeet Fed. Yes. I agree. Yeah, I do believe he probably just goes and wades in the river for his morning shit. All right, let's get into Liver King. I guess he's been wilding out recently. I don't really even know much hardly about Liver King, but everyone's talking about this, so I kind of want to get the inside track. Let's watch this video together. We'll get informed on what the fuck's going on with this whole Liver King situation. Guess I should probably read the caption real quick. The Liver King arrested for traveling to Austin, Texas after making threats against Rogan on social media. Johnson faces 1 charge of terrorist threat. Johnson was seen on all fours like a monkey in a video posted shortly before he traveled to Austin. Said he was coming for Rogan and demanded that the two fight. According to APD, detectives contacted Mr. Rogan and stated he had never had any interaction with Johnson and considered the post to be threatening. Liver King is famous for his primal diet where he eats food including liver and testicles, but recently admitted he takes steroids. Never would have guessed. Oh, here's a video of him moving around like a monkey, like a weirdo. Although this looks like probably a pretty damn good workout. All right, let's watch this again.
Afford anything and everything. Because Joe Rogan, we don't have to make videos to pretend anymore. All of this is happening. We're coming to you. I've challenged you man to man to a fight. Honorable. And we don't have to pretend or make any videos. The world is watching. They'll make the videos for us. And you don't have to hold a camera. You can hold the hand of somebody that you love, because what happens next to you, you're going to need to remember that feeling. You're going to need something more than what you did to give you something to fight for, because I have my family to fight for. And I'll die for them, you know that. And you're a black belt, but you've never come across something like this.
Look at, if you guys can see it, look at his blue mouth. That's one thing I saw people pointing out, is blue mouth. The only thing I can think of is that maybe that's like methylene blue or something. Isn't that like a health fad? Which I don't even really understand what the fuck that is. But so that's the thing I think. I knew he's big into these like health fads, like carnivore type stuff, which that's basically kind of what I've been doing to get in really good shape recently. But I mean, like, he's into like weird. So I don't know. The blue mouth thing's weird. So keep an eye on the blue mouth. But also I want to ask if any of you guys out there in the audience, if any of you have watched Liver King stuff before, or if you are a regular consumer or whatever, let me know, how does this behavior match up to his other behavior? Because like I said, I've never really watched him. This does just look like an insane person behavior to me. I don't know if this is what you usually get from him, but he looks like a little loopy, not quite there. I don't know if is he usually with it, or is he usually kind of out of it, kind of a weird guy. I don't know. It's hard to get a read if I don't have a baseline to go off of. But let's keep going.
Going to die, hoping that you'll choke me out. I pray to God, because that's a dream come true. It feels good. And then the limbs, I'm fighting for my family. So limb. Go ahead.
What?
But then you have to contend with something else. And I weigh 177 pounds. An actual savage. And so at first you're like, fuck that guy. And right? When you all of a sudden he did get your attention, which I already did before this, you're saying, I'm going to choke that motherfucker, that piece of fucking shit. I'm going to choke him out. That's what warriors do. You and Andrew Tate are good warriors.
Good warrior boys.
But you're actually
that's what I'm going to call my audience. You guys are good little warrior boys. I don't know why that sounds funny to me, little warrior boys. You're my little warrior boys. And that's what the Trump should start calling Netanyahu, his little warrior boy. Isn't that what he called him? His little thing is warrior. Look, he's a great warrior for Israel. He's my little warrior boy.
tension we have? Comedy that you do is good and true. We have real tension. But what I see in you is comedy is good and true. Touch points, how people laugh. If we don't make fun of them at their expense, they laugh. You should all make fun of me. You should all make fun of me at my expense. Trust me, that it still works. And then you should get paid for it. And let's go. Because we're leaving. We're going to Austin. What was my very last point?
That we're gonna kick Joe Rogan's ass?
The real Jew said it. It's my speech, Justin.
What is he on? I feel like he's on something. I just can't quite place it. Yeah, I mean, what is it? I can't. I mean, once again, I don't have a baseline for this guy, so I don't really know like what he normally acts like. But clearly, something's off. All right. Then we got new Liver King shows off his ankle monitor after being arrested. Says he isn't allowed within 200 feet of Rogan. Says he's now headed for the Texas Capitol. Faces one charge of terroristic threat after saying he was coming for Rogan and demanded the two fight. According to ABD, detectives contacted Rogan, who stated never had any interaction with Johnson, and considered them threatening. All right, let's see the latest. This one's a little bit longer, but I don't know. Let's play it.
Again, it's not what you think. I'm talking about but Rogan versus Liver King. Again, it's not what you think. I'm talking about the filmmaker, the actual genius comedian, good and true. That guy's good and true. I'll pick a funny fight with him.
He seems a little bit more with it already. I mean, I'm only 10 seconds in. But is this his baseline for those who watch him? Because this is his baseline. He's still like, this dude is like, cognitive. What is the word I'm looking for? He's like cognitively deficient or something. Like he is. If this is his baseline, he's just not. He's not firing on all cylinders. He's not all there. So let's keep going.
So we're gonna go there for that reason, but 200 yards. Restrain myself. I must do. If anybody, here's how we do it. If anybody's last name is Rogan, and you're in the capital of Austin, Texas, like Capitol Hill stuff place, like where they make laws, like Rogan versus Liver King, where bullies that are big, that don't just do good and true, are held accountable. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna go. So if you don't mind, just don't be there for a little while, within 200 yards. Oh, how about this? If your first name starts with a J, and the last name is Rogan, announce yourself if you're at Capitol, in the actual Capitol, like where it looks really cool. Where is it at? Where are you at, Capitol? That's where we're going, somewhere. I don't know if I can see it. Yeah, boy!
And by the way, I noticed one of you guys, actually right here, I see his pupil sizes are different drastically. So I saw people point that out. I think the eyes. I think he's had. Someone said. I think I saw somewhere he's had eye injury or something. So I think that's just might be the way his eyes are. And then yeah, he's saying the blue mouth is methylene blue. But look at his eyes. All right, let's keep going on this one. This is bizarre.
That's how all roads actually bleed when you're barbarian. So we're gonna go there, and I invite everyone else to come. The news should be there. But if your first name starts with a J and the last name is Rogan, I actually do invite your family, and I take it back. I invite you to come to meet my family.
Real quick, Jim here is saying Johnny Bravo did a good video on this, or maybe you mean Eddie Bravo? John Bravo? Eddie Bravo, probably you mean. Did a good video on this. He has a suitcase with a handgun in it with Joe's face in the box, says you will pay, and I got a present for you type of comments. Okay, Jesus Christ. All right, let's keep going.
That's what I invite. But because of these things, the ankle monitor, stuff like that, and because of the law, I can't invite you to do that. Not tonight. Not until after July, this date, after these things are resolved, which I can't say. After then everyone is invited, but just tonight I'm going to invite the news, any news who wants to come. Actually, I invite the whole world to join live in real time. I invite everybody, especially Texans. Texas is cool.
Welcome to Texas, Rogan. Because I have a curfew. At 9 o'clock, I have a curfew. I have to be tucked away. I get to be tucked away. That's my gift, to be nestled in home with my queen.
All right, I guess someone's saying he claimed Joe ruined his career is some of the reasons why he's thinking, which, okay, maybe he did talk about him. So, yeah. All right, let's keep going.
And my boys and my dogs. That's my curfew now is at 9 p.m. That's where I have to be. And I'm not allowed out of that space until 6 a.m. That's my new curfew. With this thing, that's an ankle bracelet. It's a little bit of added weight that makes my legs stronger. It's a unilateral load that adds to...
I guess you guys are saying John Bravo is somebody else. I didn't know who that was, so yeah. He covers all the lifter bro beefs and drama. Okay, no, I didn't know anything about him.
Coordination that I otherwise wouldn't have asked for that gift, but that's the new gift that one is. We're going to wear that ankle bracelet until we no longer do, but congruent with that ankle bracelet is the restraint to now have a curfew. So I have to hurry up and get over there.
Shit's
because
insane.
I have a curfew, and that curfew is the gift. So now I get to be tucked in my home a little earlier with my family. So that's why we're going right now today, and why I'm in a little bit of a rush. That's what's going to be happening next. But in the meantime, my queen and I are going to have a couple of bone-in steaks at the Four Seasons. I said, hey, Christian King, man, he's a barbarian. He's my executive assistant. He's barbarian. He's awesome. Christian
The music here is something else.
I haven't eaten since yesterday. Since yesterday, I haven't eaten. And actually, I don't think it was yesterday. It was the day before. It's the day before because whenever we left Houston is when I had my last bite of meat. And then...
This is wild. People watch this shit?
Then somebody came to get me to put me in jail, in Austin jail.
Like, what is this guy, like, is this what his content is? Like, I don't even, like, does he do podcasts? Like, what does he do? Like, is this his thing? Does he just make these videos and that's it? Or, I mean, like, I get he works out and stuff, but, like, I don't know, is he just like an influencer? What is he? This is, all right.
Oh, I didn't know about that one. So I'm hungry. I weigh 179 pounds or something like that. I'm really hungry. And I'm preparing for a fight that is unwinnable by both parties. But if you're not looking to win or lose, if you're
It is wild he keeps telling he's 170. I saw someone in the chat saying, what is he, like 5'2"? And it's like, this dude's a fucking, like, brawlic little monster. And he's like 170 something? How? Like, I get it, he's ripped, but, like, he must be, like, literally shorter than me. Like, I'm 5'5", and I'm, like, 195. So, I mean, I'm not, like, ripped, but, like, him, I got, like, a little 4-pack that peeks out if I kind of tighten it up. That's about it. I don't know, I think I'm, like, maybe a month or two out from my having a little bit of 6-pack peeking out. I've been working on shit. But, yeah, I don't know. You must be a little guy.
looking to hold up a principle. Maybe everybody fucking wins. Good and true. Yeah, so I'm starving. So I was like, hey, Christian King, can you get us a couple of steaks? Bone in, make it bone in, and bone marrow. And then a couple of burgers, patties only. Can you get me patties only on those
He's just
burgers?
rambling about food he's going to eat.
Because I need also an assortment of, like, fancy meats.
All right, I don't think I'm ever going to cover this again. This was, I felt like this was a waste of my time. It's wild that people have made an economy for this guy. Like, well, what is this? All right, this is I mean, I don't know. I guess, once again, I don't know the baseline because I never really consumed his content. And so I don't really know what he was like when not in these two videos. And he's clearly going through some shit right now. So I don't know. This is bizarre. All right, guys, let's roll through the chat. I think I have one more little video we'll watch together, making fun of some some members, some lizard people, and then we'll move on out of here and be back. We have Already Dead tonight, by the way. I do remind you guys. So if you guys want to call in and hang out, you guys can do that tonight at 9:30. So. JC says they looked it up and just like thought he's Jewish. His job is being a Bronze Age caricature to humiliate the Goy's heritage while cryptic off them. I feel like you made that up, but I believe it either way. Yeah, the scatterbrain stream of consciousness is every dude I've ever known that gets fried by meth. What are you trying to say here, bud? You trying to say you think I did meth? That's what this fucking show is, basically. Yeah, but he's also involved in the same with more plates, more day. All right, whatever. He got big on TikTok, eating raw testicles and shit. Okay. This does sound like math, but the problem is that he eats raw meat and has done decades of steroids, which does the exact same thing. Does it do the exact same thing? I don't know about that. The raw meat, maybe, because you get all those parasites. Those could do some wild shit. I'm not necessarily... I don't know. I guess there's so many different types of steroids. I don't know. I think they're good for you guys. He's famous, claiming to be natural, and got buff eating raw meat and was exposed. Oh, yeah. I bet you he's mad at Rogan for exposing him. Because I believe Rogan has mentioned that, yeah, dude's clearly on sauce, but dude's clearly on sauce. I mean, I don't know. I could have told you that from the jump. Like, yeah, you didn't get there. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you eat nothing but raw meat, I'm not saying that's healthy, but so far as like having like a good physique, if you work out, that is pretty ideal so far as like protein, all that stuff. Like generally, I mean, it's not the greatest for other reasons, but if you're just trying to be a yoked fucking monster, then it helps, but it's still not going to get you like fucking yacked like he is. That's sauce, dude. When I think of dwarves, I think of him. Yeah, he definitely does look like a dwarf. All right, let's watch this last video. I just thought this was funny. This is shared from a friend of the show, Pericles. Used to be I think he was on Tower Gang a couple times, but here's a video of Jamal Bowman complaining about how he deal with the N-word every day. So let's hear him out.
Listen to what I'm saying. The reason why heart disease and cancer and obesity and diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day. Listen to what I'm saying. The reason why heart...
So he's having to deal with us, psychically, I guess, saying the N-word. That or he's saying that everyone's saying it. So directly or indirectly. Man, that must be really hard, that he has to hear the word nigger all the time. Man, that must be so hard, that in the world where we casually refer to it as the N-word because we're too much of a coward to say the word nigger. Yeah, this guy, for some reason, in 2025, is dealing with every day being called nigger, directly or indirectly. And the reason why I keep saying nigger is just because I know it makes people upset and uncomfortable, and it just kind of drives the point even more how people aren't just casually, flippantly, directly or indirectly calling or former congressman nigger every single day. That's just not happening. They're very niggardly with their usage of the word nigger. By they, I mean the populace at large. So, I don't know. It's just there's nothing really to comment on here. This is ridiculous. This is I don't know. Ironically, nigger behavior. This is retarded. This is dumb. So the funny thing is, if I not that I expect to get any sort of outrage for that little bit I just did there, but if I were, it just proves the point. It's like you're saying it's beyond the pale that I just said the word that you referred to by a letter because you were too cowardly to say it as if it was fucking Voldemort. Yeah. What, fucking ridiculous. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get on out of here. I do want to remind you guys, if you want to support the show, you can leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. Follow me on Twitter at TowerGangJose. You guys are my eyes and ears out there. You help me know what's going on in the world because I'm but one man. And if you want to directly support the show with money, I do appreciate that. You can do that at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. That gives you access to the early episodes. And I've been doing 1 to 2 a week these days, trying to keep about 4 at a time behind the paywall. So you're getting weeks of paywall content. You also get access to the pre-show, and you get priority on the call-ins on me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, which is usually on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. This week's a little bit different. And then also you can add-free RSS feed. And then I give a shout out to little sponsors every week as a big thank you because you give me the most money and I love you for it. I have my co-host, former co-host on Tower Gang, at Tower Gang Toad, also at Abrogate D's, at ZOVRECK, at _InfantZeal, Tim Tuttle, at John Cleeble, Will Bell's Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, big fan of the show, Torme, and then Jordan Peterson. Let's roll through the chat real quick, see if there's anything else to catch on my way out, and we'll get on out of here. No way this nigga's claiming he's a victim. Jim saying, yeah, NIGG says Hustle. You got fucked up. I'll just pretend Rise in ER. I mean, you did a tower all by yourself. It doesn't work. You got to do it with friends. Want somebody please think of this poor man. This is why he's sick. It definitely has nothing to do with the food they eat or the lives they live. The reason I didn't even, you know what? The funny thing is that the second half of that was so ridiculous that I completely forgot about the even first half of that statement. That the reason why heart disease and cancer and obesity and diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of stress. Like that whole part right there, like they literally, like the first part of his argument was the second part was so fucking stupid that I forgot about the first part. Like if you just said that I carry a lot of stress, that I carry a lot of stress from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day. That statement alone was enough for me to make fun of and say the N-word a bunch of times. The first half makes it even more retarded because it's like literally like, oh, the stress that I get from that is why we have heart disease, cancer, and obesity and diabetes. Okay, so are you telling me by saying nigger, I'm literally killing niggers? Okay, the second part was a little unnecessary because they're not literally. You know what I mean. But the joke, there's clearly a joke there. It's clearly a joke there. No? Okay. So stupid. So dumb. So fucking dumb. All right. Yeah, I didn't even think about the first half of it. So dumb. All right, everyone's saying bye. Everyone's saying bye. It's biology. They don't process food the same. That probably makes sense. They say the same with like Asians with alcohol. I've heard that. I mean, I've heard there's some stuff to the whole like different I don't know what's the word I'm for. Different genealogies having different dietary needs. So that would make sense totally. Yeah. I mean, coming from different regions, you're gonna eat different things, different areas. Totally makes sense that if you end up I know that you show up in America where the American diets. And you throw in the race. Maybe there is a race component to it. Perhaps I don't know. All right, guys, let's get on out of here. Here is the outro for today. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm out of the Italo discos. If you guys see any of those, please tag me. I don't know where the hell they are, but I want more of them. I want them every fucking day. But with that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. Join me then. I think it'll be the last. What is tomorrow? Friday? The last one of the week. Or join me tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. With that, guys, enjoy this outro. I'll see you all tomorrow.